Hello, welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Welcome to another video of me talking about and wrapping up my 2023 goals. So yesterday I talked all about December and my December action steps, and in this video I'm going to talk all about my quarterly goals. So I like to set quarterly goals, and I feel like I explained this in the Q1 video from 2023 about why I set quarterly goals and kind of my thoughts behind them. And so I don't want to repeat myself too much, but in general, I like having a focus for the quarter, and sometimes it is an adjustment on my annual goals because things in my life have changed. But for the most part, it is a focus for the quarter and a way for me to really assess at the end of the quarter, did I achieve that or not, right? Most of my annual goals are pretty vague and allow me the flexibility to work within them. And the quarterly goal is a little bit more like concrete, this is what I'm focusing on this quarter. From a business standpoint, I only set quarterly goals because annually is really hard to predict. Besides a revenue goal, I don't have any other annual goals for my business, so I just pick things on the quarter. Now, the irony of these goals is I set them in August, which is a little early for Q4, but I was due with a baby in September. So I knew that I wasn't going to be in a place to set quarterly goals when I had a newborn. So I was gonna set them with the anticipation of what I wanted Q4 to look like, both personal and business-wise, and I would pick up on them. I thought it was gonna be more like November. I was due at the end of September. My daughter did end up being born 3 weeks early, and so by the start of the new quarter in October, I was kind of ready to get back into goals. So these really did turn into quarterly goals that I focused on for October, November, and December. I am filming this video on December 15th, so December is not quite over, but I feel ready and prepared to talk about where I'm at with these goals this quarter. So let's start with my personal goals. The first one was related to my annual goal of relationships, and that was to have some at-home date nights with my husband. And this one, I feel like as the definition, we didn't really do any at-home date nights. But if we were at home, one of us was asleep or we were taking care of our daughter, that was pretty, or the other people were there. Like there was very little alone time where both of us were awake at home. That is just how the balance of our things worked out. But we did go on some actual date nights. We saw 2 shows, we went out to dinner. So I feel like I achieved this quarterly goal, even though it did end up looking differently than I had originally planned. So maybe not 10 out of 10, maybe like an 8 out of 10. Because I think part of the at-home date nights, I really wanted to play some games with him. We both love to play games and we have so many, and we didn't do any of that, so 8 out of 10. The next one was to set up my 2024 personal goals, and while I am not quite done with them yet, I talked about that a little bit in the December video, I haven't broken them down yet. I feel like I'm on the right path with them. I feel excited about them, so even though I'm not quite done because it is only December 15th, I feel good about where this quarterly goal is. The next one was to figure out the routine with my mom. So if you do not know or you have not heard me talk about in a video or in a vlog, my mom is retired and very much willing and excited to help us watch our daughter while we are both working. So both my husband and I work for ourselves. So we have the flexibility to work and schedule things. His is a little bit more difficult because the majority of his job, I wonder what he would say his split is, but he has the majority of his are calls with clients. So he's got to schedule those in advance. And so his is a little bit more, we've structured it around that. Whereas mine is the other way around. I have some scheduled calls and some set things, especially with the community, but those I do in the evenings when he is not working. And then the rest of my work can be done whenever. And some of the things that I do work-wise, I can do while like I am still the one in charge and she's asleep. And then some of them, like filming a video, I need to make sure that I have scheduled either with my mom or Sam, my husband, and somebody else is watching her so that I can film uninterrupted and not worry about, is she gonna need me, is she gonna wake up, etc. So the quarterly goal, I feel like I probably explained that in the quarterly video, but here I am explaining it again, is to figure out that routine with my mom and getting our schedules synced up. And I feel like that has gone very well, and I'm feeling very good about that going into the new year. The next one though, so far we're 3 for 3, right? I feel really good so far. The 4th quarterly goal was to keep tracking finances. I have talked in the past about how when I'm on my game with tracking my finances, I am on our finances as a household, I'm on. But then when something big comes up, the wedding, the move, I'm like, forget it, I'm just not gonna track, it's too much work, and I just like let it go. And I tried to hype myself up and get myself to make sure that I kept tracking this year, because while it was a big life change, it was something that was not a one-time expense kind of change. It was a ongoing expense kind of change. Ask me if I've been good about tracking the last few months. No, the answer is I haven't. So that one did not go well. Oh well. The next one was to care for my postpartum body, and honestly, I feel like I've done a really good job of that. It hasn't been perfect. It has been, I mean, in general, healing from growing and then birthing a human is hard. And I think I very much underestimated how I was gonna feel physically, but I do feel like I have tried to do things since that have been very helpful, both mentally and physically. So I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail about that one because a lot of that's very personal, but I feel really good about that goal. And then the last one, I love that I wrote this, was to do my best as a new mom. And I hope I can get through this one without crying. Are there days that I feel like I did not succeed at that goal? Absolutely. There are days that I'm like, I am the worst, this is not going well, this is very hard, and it is very hard, but it is also the most rewarding thing in the entire universe. And I feel like I'm doing my best. I feel like I'm doing my best for her and for us as a family, and I'm very proud of that. So I feel pretty good. And you know what? If at the end of the day, this quarter, I created a human and brought her into this world and have cared for her for the last 3.5 months, and I got feel good about 5 out of 6 of my quarterly personal goals, I feel good about that. All right, moving into my business goals for Q4. I'm looking at these at a glance. I feel pretty good about them, y'all. Okay, let's go through them one at a time, Laken. Number 1 was to get back to recurring tasks, and that one has been okay. Like, it hasn't been the best, but it hasn't been the worst. There are some things that I used to do further in advance, or I used to batch, that I have kind of been doing a little bit more last minute or kind of figuring out, but I'm getting better. I feel like I have improved since the beginning of the quarter. So even though that one wasn't the best, I do feel like I am getting there. And I don't necessarily feel like I am back to pre-baby in terms of my business tasks, but I also haven't had the hours, obviously, that I had before. And then also just like mentally, I mean, I'm not getting the sleep I was getting before, right? So it should be expected that it wasn't gonna be as good as it was. So I don't know, maybe like a 6 out of 10 on that one. I feel better than half, but not that much better. All right, the next one was to plan for 2024. And kind of like my 2024 personal goals, quarterly goal, this one I don't feel done with at all. I still feel like I have some planning to do, but I've done a lot and I feel really good about it. I have, my revenue goal is all set. The breakdown between all the different offers that I have is set. The plans, like the general projects I want to work on for the year. Basically what I do, I will only set goals for the business on a quarterly basis, and I'll be sharing my Q1 business goals with you in just a few days. But I have a list for the year, but then I pick more concretely what I'm gonna focus on in Q1, and I feel pretty good about all of that. Kind of like my personal goals, the big step that I haven't done yet is broken it down. So part of me is like, well, when I break it down, am I going to find that I don't have enough time to work on all the things that I've said? But based on my rough estimates, I think it's going to be okay. I talked about this a little bit in an Instagram story, and it probably needs to be talked about in its own video or its own vlog. I'm kind of tackling my time a little bit differently with business now that I have a baby. Instead of maximizing my business hours and then picking projects and tasks to fill those hours, I'm doing it the other way around. I'm picking the projects and the tasks, saying, okay, I think it's gonna take this many hours to work on that. How can I fit those hours into my schedule, either when she's asleep or somebody else is watching her? I'm trying to balance that number so it is both maximizing my business opportunities while also maximizing the amount of time with my daughter, right? I am trying to figure out what is that right balance, and I'm sure I'm gonna figure that out way more as we go throughout the year. I was telling somebody the other day, this is not totally related to this video, but you know, I'm making all these plans for 2024, and I'm making them with the knowledge that I have right now with a 3.5-month-old. But a 3.5-month-old and a 15.5-month-old that I will have this time next year is so different, that in so many different ways, that I'm gonna have to have a lot of flexibility next year. All right, the next quarterly business goal was to do Vlogmas. And if you are seeing this video, this is so ironic because I really tried to like maneuver the Vlogmas so that the videos that like fell on Christmas like were a little bit more exciting. Like I kind of wanted my 2023 wrap up to be on Christmas and then my 2024 goals to be on New Year's, but that's just not how it's gonna pan out. But if you're watching this video, it is Christmas Day and I've uploaded a video every day from the 1st to today with a 3-month-old, and that feels very good. I have done Vlogmas every year on my YouTube channel since I started it, and I knew I wanted to make it a priority this year. I am so thankful for my wonderful editor who 100% makes it possible. Without her, there would be no Vlogmas. And then to myself for having the foresight to add in an extra buffer day. In the past, we turned around the vlogs in 2 days. I knew I needed an extra day this year, so now the vlogs are 3 days delayed, but it has worked. And hopefully you've been enjoying the vlogs this year. I mean, we're in the home stretch at this point when I'm filming this clip, and I feel really good about it. And then the last business goal I also feel really good about, which are the 2024 goal setting workshops. Oh, y'all, I went back and forth on these workshops a lot. I went back and forth on whether I was even gonna offer them, whether I was gonna offer them live, whether they were gonna be within the community or outside of the community. And all of those decisions I felt like I had to make before the baby came. So I was making it with a lot of assumptions that I didn't know how it was gonna play out. And not only am I glad for all the decisions that I made for it being outside of the community, well, doing them first off, for them being outside of the community and doing them live, they were fantastic. Now, when I'm filming this video, I haven't actually taught the 3rd one yet. I've only taught week 1 and 2. Week 3 is tomorrow. And I'm really excited about it. I just think that they are so helpful. They provide that accountability that you need to walk you through every step of your goal setting process, and you can still get them. Obviously, them being taught live is over by the time this video goes up, but if you need the accountability to get your goals set up for the new year, you can grab them and press play on the replay and work on setting up your goals for the new year. It is part teaching as well as part working time. It doesn't matter what goal planner you're using, it's gonna support you regardless of the goal planner. If you have any other questions, let me know down in the comments, but you can still grab it and watch the replays. If you're a community member, you do still have a discount. That is inside Teachable. In like the top section, you can see the discount code for the workshop. And yeah, I'm really proud of that business goal. And I know that like going forward, it's gonna be a staple of my business. All right. That's it. Those were my quarterly goals. And you know, I am so proud of August Laken for setting these goals before she even knew what her life was going to look like or feel like. And then I am proud of Q4 Laken for executing on them, even with a little one, which obviously would not be possible without the incredible support system that is my mom and my husband. Like without the two of them, these things would not have been possible. I am very thankful for both of them. But yeah, that's a wrap on my quarterly goals. We have one more wrap up video tomorrow talking all about my overarching annual goals for 2023. And then we will move into the new year. But that is it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. I feel good about talking about, that's a lot of words. Don't necessarily still feel like, blah, blah, blah.